Hey everybody, Pastor Brad here. I am with Len Bell. Len is our lead elder, and thanks for joining us tonight. We want to tell you about some changes that are happening to our weekend gatherings. And if you were here this last weekend, you heard about it, or maybe you tuned in on our live stream and you know about it already, but we want to give you a little bit more information than we can give at our weekend service. Or maybe this is entirely new to you, and we want to bring you up to speed on that. So here's what we want to share with you tonight. We are going to, in the new year, early in the new year, move away from a Saturday night gathering, and in conjunction with that, add a service on Sunday morning. And we know that that has implications, and there's some rationale for it, but people might, we give more details in just a bit, but people might be interested to know that's a significant decision. How do you come up with that decision as an elder group?
Sure. Well, you may know that Copper Hills is an elder-led church, and by that we mean that we have a group of elders that meet regularly, that discuss a number of topics and issues, but we also pray for the church as a whole and for you as our church family, and for the staff and pastoral staff in particular. And as these topics and issues come up, we try to discern the will of Jesus in these things, and then we have to make decisions as we move forward. And so as we've thought about these changes in services, we've prayed about this a lot, and we considered a lot of different sides to this issue. And we just feel as though this is the right time and the right decision to make as far as changes in our services. We know it's going to have a lot of implications and have an impact on a number of different people. And we just want to take a few minutes and explain what some of those rationales are for why we made those changes.
Yeah. There's a couple that come to mind immediately that we've talked about. One is our attendance trends. We've just discovered that post-COVID, our return rate on Sunday morning services is higher than it is on Saturday. And that caught our attention. It's not only us, this is kind of a national trend that we're aware of is happening in evangelical churches that have Saturday night services. But here's the interesting thing. We had Saturday night services going for about 6 months, and then COVID happened. And we knew going into it, though you don't know all the details of what's going to happen, there was just this sense that this is more than an interruption, and we'll just pick up as normal going forward, that this is disruptive, that some things are going to be new going forward. And this is one of the things that's new. For some reason, and there's lots of opinions why, the bounce back for us and other churches on Saturday just hasn't been there. In fact, the trend where Sunday morning the trends are increasing, this one is slowly seems to be decreasing. And so we've just had our attention to that, and we began to think about that and what the implications of that would be. Secondly, it's understandable because most of our volunteers for Saturday come from that Saturday night gathering. If that's down, the number of volunteers are down as well. And we have one ministry, for example, that consistently runs about half of what we need to make that successful and safe. And so with that kind of trend as well, wanting to have a vibrant, alive, safe ministry as a whole, we realized some changes need to happen. And that's part of the rationale for the changes that I mentioned. But there's one more as well.
Yeah, and just related to the volunteers, it also takes as many volunteers to staff a gathering of 100 on Saturday night as it does 250 or 300 on Sunday morning.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
But there is one additional rationale, and that is that as an elder board, we are really concerned about the health and soul health of our staff, both pastoral and church staff. And so when we take into consideration how much work goes into putting together a Saturday evening service, and most of that work really falls on the shoulders of about 4 pastors and church staff. And when we put that together with the decrease in attendance, trends, as well as the volunteer needs that we have, we just feel as though taken together, it really is the right time to make this change in service.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of implications and impact for our staff, and maybe we can talk about some
Yeah,
of those.
it does. We know the implication is that some people are going to be displaced from Saturday night. That's their service where they go. And as we've talked to some of them, many of them, we're confident, are going to move to Sunday. And it works for them to be able to do that. But we know there is a small percentage that Saturday is the only time that they can go, or maybe that's the only time they can volunteer. And this has been a significant point of prayer and thought and discussion, because we don't want to displace anybody. And yet the weight of what's happening has caused us to move in this direction to make this decision. So if that's you, that you attend Saturday or you volunteer Saturday, and that's your only opportunity, we want to walk alongside you with that. We have some resources that we think might be helpful. We want to try to find a way to keep it integrated in our family if there's some way to do that, but it all begins with some discussion and dialogue together, and we want to open ourselves up for that, but we're aware there's an implication. There's an opportunity here as well. Our 2 services on Sunday are close to that 80% capacity place where we have to think about, how do we facilitate growth? And by adding another service on Sunday, that helps with that. We think there's an opportunity there. The second thing relates to volunteers. We know that the implication is that volunteers are going to have to shift the time when they serve. And if you serve on Saturday night, it's not only shifting a time, but it's shifting a day as well. And that's significant. But there's an opportunity in this. Our hope would be that everybody who serves at one of our weekend gatherings would serve at one and attend one for the refreshing and the nurturing of their soul. This gives everybody the opportunity. If you served on Saturday, that wasn't an opportunity for you, but now it is. And we think that's healthy for our church family as well, to have that rhythm of serving one and attending one. And we think this is a helpful move in that way.
And there's another opportunity for our staff, and that is that they can focus their energy and their attention to just one day of faith services, and that being on Sunday. Give them a little bit of a break on Saturday, and that'll be a bit of a refreshing for them.
Yeah. So let me summarize for just a second. With Saturday not going forward in the new year and 3 services Sunday, what does that look like? Well, January the 8th will be the first Sunday of the new year where we don't have a Saturday night service from there going forward. But the 9th, the next day, the Sunday, is the first Sunday. We'll have 3 services, again, 8:30, 10, and 11:30. But here's the interesting thing with our calendar this year. Saturday night falls on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day, so both of those Saturdays, the 25th and the 1st, we're not going to have a Saturday night service there. So if in effect, it means that December the 18th is our last Saturday night service that we'll do. And so we want you to be aware of this, make ourselves available to you. Probably the best way, if you've got questions, is just email me and I'll make sure it gets to the right place if I don't have the answer for you. But that email address is really simply brad@copperhills.org, and we'll make sure that we help you with that. It's been our history as a church to face some difficult decisions along the way, and this is one of those. But here's the wonderful thing. As we look back over the 25 years that we've been here, Jesus has always been faithful. When we haven't always known exactly where that decision leads, he knows, and he's faithful. And he cares not only for our church family as a group, but every individual. And so if you're impacted by this, be encouraged. Jesus has you, he has us, and we're going to find a way forward in the best possible way that honors him and blesses you.
He cares deeply for us because he's our shepherd, and he's your shepherd.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.